Hi, here I am today with Herceny of Del Cid Coffee,
Hello.
and I had the opportunity of meeting Herceny and her family at the Hawthorne Business Expo a few weeks ago, and I sampled her coffee and I was blown away. Herceny, tell me your story. Where do you get this coffee?
So I actually grow the coffee myself. So the coffee comes from our coffee farms in Santa Rosa, Guatemala that have been in my family for about 6 generations. And my parents, my mom and dad planted the plants that you tasted. The coffee that you tasted
Wow.
were planted by my mom and dad. So we take care of them. So the coffee comes from my land that we cultivated.
That's amazing. And you import the coffee into Los Angeles and roast it?
Yes, so I just started this year. I exported the coffee as a coffee farmer in Guatemala, and I imported into the Los Angeles, the United States.
Wow. And so what do you call your coffee?
So I decided to call my coffee Del Cid Coffee.
Del Cid.
Yeah, so it's my family last name. Where my coffee grows, my entire family grows coffee. I mean, like cousins, aunts, uncles, from my grandparents, great-grandparents, and we all share the last name Del Cid. So that's why I decided to name my company Del Cid Coffee to represent my family now and my ancestors.
Now, I drink a lot of coffee, and I thought your coffee was so robust and flavorful, but yet not harsh. What do you owe that to?
So I definitely think it's the soil. For the main part is the soil and the climate around my coffee. We take very good care of the soil. It's still very natural. It's still kind of, I like to say, untouched by man. We still do very natural ways of growing coffee, like our Mayan ancestors have taught us. So we go based on the sun and the moon, and I think that makes the soil this rich, full of nitrogen and calcium and all the nutrients that the coffee needs. So that's the main part of the coffee. And then when we pick the coffee, so once it's done, we make sure we only pick the very ripe cherry. So it's not even red, it's like a blood burgundy. So I had to make sure to teach people to pick only the ripe cherry because it had never been done in my family, like ever. So I came and I introduced this new way of picking coffee, and at first it wasn't taken very well because I came and I changed something that's been done for like generations past, and I came and I said, no, we're only going to pick the ripe cherry. So then I also decided to do a natural dry, which means that I dried the cherry like a raisin in the sun instead of using a washed process. So the washed process uses water to take the bean or the seed from the cherry, and then you dry the seed. But I decided to do just dry them on drying beds, and so the sun takes care of it. It takes like 10 to 15 days of drying, and you have to be moving it every hour. So there's a lot of love to it. So then once it's completely dry, the red cherry turns into like a dark brown and hard. Then there's another process to extract that seed, and then so that's another process that adds to the flavor.
So where did you learn this?
I've been researching coffee for the past 3-4 years. When I decided to start doing this, I knew I needed to learn as much as I could. So I learned everything from the soil, from the plant, to roasting, which is where we are now, the roasting part, which also has to do with the flavor. So I decided to learn and immerse myself as much as possible. I went to coffee expos, I read books, I watched YouTube videos, I asked questions, I joined groups in Guatemala, like Ana Cafe, and they came and they taught me a lot about the agronomy part of the coffee. So I just took it upon myself to learn. as much as I could.
Well, you are a self-made woman in the coffee business, and you've produced an amazing product.
Thank you.
And how do we get your product? How do I get my hands on more?
My product, or our product, is my family's product, is available only online right now. So you could go to delcidcoffee.com and order your either ground or whole bean. And we decided to go with a light medium profile to keep the chocolatey taste, because once you roast darker, you remove all the original taste of like what the soil produces. So we made sure we keep it light medium, so that every time you taste the coffee, you can taste the chocolate, the cinnamon, the caramel, and just basically we want you to take a journey to Guatemala, to our farms, through the taste of the coffee. So
Fantastic.
we made sure we kept like a nice profile, which is a recipe. A profile is a recipe for the coffee.
Well, you've definitely achieved that.